All right, welcome back. We continue live right here, Pittsburgh CW. Bob Pompiani with you until 11 o'clock at 412-575-2600. Give it a shot. We also have some email and some tweets. This is from the Twitter bag. Golf Jerk, JRK, says, Pomp, the $100 million quarterback, played like crap. The Steelers lost because of number 7. He certainly contributed to it. You can't make that many turnovers, but my point was, when we were talking about the previous caller, turning point of the game was James Conner's fumble. I think that's pretty clear. We also have this regarding Christopher, who says, hey, Pomp, do you think Ben should even play if he's having a bad game, or should they put in Dobbs or Rudolph mop-up? They typically don't like to do that. If they're ahead comfortably, I think if I were a head coach, I'd do that with all my starting key personnel. I wouldn't keep them in there late in games. And then we have 2 other people who want to know about the situation at running back. Why wasn't it more of a committee? And I would agree with that. I think at this week you're going to see some Stephen Ridley. You should see some Jalen Samuels to complement James Conner as well. Let's go out to Ron in Johnstown. Hey, Ron, how are you?
Hi, Bob. Hey, the reason I'm calling, basically, I was just going to on the issue you said about running back, because I just heard this week in the media. Our new offensive coordinator, he made a statement that, yeah, I probably should have. It passed me by, but I should have put other running backs in. And he also said, look, with the young receiver, I guess, referring to Washington, he said I should have got them involved. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. I mean, you figure he was there, been the quarterback coach. I mean, I know offense coordinator is different, but, and then he's saying, well, he's had second thoughts. He should have put.
Right.
I mean, you think he should have been ready for that. Even Tomlin, I agree with you. I think one of the issues that maybe Conner's fumbled, I mean, that was a big workload for him, which he's never really carried that much before.
Now, that's a lot, but he proved to me he can handle it. Now, the question is, can he do it every week? That's a big workload for any running back.
Right.
But I was encouraged to see what he's done all throughout this training camp in blitz pickup, and his passing game has certainly gotten better. So,
But I thought it was something for an offense coordinator to come out there.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that's a lot of work. That's one of the reasons Le'Veon Bell wants to be paid what he wants to be paid, because he thinks he's working like 2 people. So I get all that, but I would expect to see Ridley a little bit and Jalen Samuels as well this week. All right, let's go line 5. That's Jeff and Carrick. Hey, Jeff, welcome to the Sports Call. How are you?
Hi, thanks, Bob. Hey, listen, I just wanted to mention that, I don't know how many teams in the NFL play really well in monsoon conditions. I mean, that ball is like literally a greased pig. And, expect the teams to kick and to catch the ball and to run the ball without worrying about it squirting out all the time. It's just like, it seems like especially the rain, like all game like that. With
you want them to cancel games like that?
No, I'm just saying. Everybody's talking about the Steelers and the mishaps and the.
Yeah, but Cleveland only made 1, so they were pretty protective with it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they dry their balls or the footballs when they play, But
Thanks for the call. 412-575-2600 is the number. Let's go out to Pete in Squirrel Hill. Hey, Pete, how you doing?
Hi, Mr. Pompiani. How are you tonight?
Mr. Pete, what's going on?
All right. Hey, Bob, listen, I'm watching one of the stations yesterday, NFL stations, and Steve Young, Super Bowl winning Hall of Fame quarterback, was interviewed. They asked him about Le'Veon Bell, asked him about Antonio Brown, and Steve Young said, Bob, that it's obvious to him the last couple of years there's been unrest and turmoil in the Steeler locker room. There's a lot of friction. There is always controversy, Bob, and issues that are going on. He says, and with that in mind, he doesn't see a team winning a championship with all those issues. What do you think about that?
Well, I'd like to know specifically what he's talking about, what issues. I think it's typical business issues that affect a lot of NFL teams, Pete. Thanks for the call. I need to see more of what he's saying. Give me more specific examples of that. We'll find out. But I don't think it's a problem. From what I understand anyway. We're going to take a break, come back with more right after this.